So I'm going to bring up my DAX screen, so I'm going to connect it to DAX 9. Now, here is my DAX screen. Now, since I want to connect DAX Studio to Power BI because my data is in Power BI, so I click on the first option. I'm going to select the first option. Like you can see, I have sales report here. If I want to connect it with more than, if I have more reports on this platform, if I have more reports open in Power BI, you will see more than one report in my DAX Studio. But I only have one Power BI report opened. So I'm going to select that particular report and click on Connect. The moment I click on Connect, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
It seems your network is bad.
Okay. Okay, let me see what I can do. Now, are you hear me now? Okay, let me hold this video. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So now this is my DAX Studio now. In my DAX Studio, I can decide to run the DAX query. For instance, I could decide to recall in DAX Studio, whenever you want to run a query in DAX Studio, you start with evaluate. So when you type evaluate as a function, before you can start a query in DAX Studio. For instance, I want to just do a simple query known as the sum of sales. Evaluate, let's say, the sum. Now, I want to evaluate the sum of sales amount. I have a column here known as sales. In this particular, I have a table here known as sales. In this particular table known as sales, I have various columns. The moment I click on that, it expands the table, and you can see each column in the table. Now, I have a column known as sales amount. I want to know the total sum of sales amount. The very moment you place a mouse pointer there, that still will give you a summary of that particular column. But now I want to calculate the total sum of that column, known as sales amount. So I want to know the total sales value. So the moment I type on sum, the next thing I'm going to introduce the table which I'm interested in. I'm interested in the table known as what? Sales. So I'm going to type sales. That was sales. Then the next I'm interested in the column. And the column is sales amount. So I click on that bracket close. Now, when you type a bracket close, you alight and you click run. You click on the run button. Or if I should click on the run button, that is going to give me an error. Why? Because I'm calculating the sum of sales. Sum of sales is going to give me only a single value. And a single value is a measure. Since it's going to give me a single value, I have to introduce the curly bracket. I have to introduce the curly bracket before running this particular DAX query. Now you can see it's giving me the total sum of what? Sales. But now let's go to Power BI now. Power BI now has a platform for DAX query. So there's no need for me to keep moving back and forth. I want to go to DAX Studio, I want to go to DAX query. Now let me bring up my Power BI screen. In my Power BI, I have a section, I have a panel for DAX query. Now this is my Power BI platform. This is my Power BI platform. Now, this is a report view. This is a table view. This view is where you can see each of your table. Then when I click on each table, you can see the table appearing on this particular view. Why the next is the connection between my tables. Other view. How my tables are connected with each other. Now, then this is the DAX view. Now you can see this view is quite similar with the DAX Studio I loaded earlier on. You can see both are similar. So instead of going back and forth, I want to go to DAX Studio to run DAX. We're running the DAX query here. If there's any need to run but majorly I'll be working on this other view. I'm working on this other view where we'll be running. Where we'll be running the DAX query. So tonight we are going to start how to create a table in DAX. There are many functions in DAX that you can use to create a table, to create a column in DAX. We are going to look at a few of them first and foremost before we move further. Now we are creating a table in Power BI. Now we want to create a table in Power BI, and we want to create a table in Power BI. We can use this particular method in creating a table in Power BI. Now, that is, you don't want to load your data into Power BI. Okay, you don't want to load the data into Power BI. You just want to create a table in Power BI. Now, Power BI has a function in which you can use in creating a table in Power BI. Okay, this particular function known as enter data. Can use this enter data to create a smaller table in Power BI. For instance, I just want to create a table about the staff and the roles. I can say names. I click on this particular arrow and I say the role of a staff, or let me say the position. And I move further and I can say department. Let's assume that's where I want to stop. It's used to create a smaller table in DAX, but mostly we import our table into DAX Studio. We hardly create a table in DAX, but if there's a need, you want to create a smaller table, you can make do of that. For instance, this I have, let me say about change here. You press the tab key, and let's assume the position for this is let's call that the sales rep. It is sales rep. And what department? Let's say sales department. Let's have somebody else. Let's say John. What department is John? Let's say marketing. Okay, that's a let's say a marketing rep. Let's call the marketing rep, and then let's call the department marketing. Okay, once I'm done here, I'm just going to give the table name. We can call that job description, or let's just say job role or job position. Let's give it a name. And when we do that, the next thing we need to do, we click on load. Now, when you click on load, that will take us to our Power Query window. It will take us to another window known as the Power Query window, where Power BI is going to load that particular data in Power Query. Going to load the data in Power Query. So let me quickly put up the window. Now you can see at the bottom of this, you can see at the bottom, you can see the table we just created. That's the table we just created. So that's one way of creating a short table in Power BI. So now let's look at how to create a table in Power BI. But before then, okay, how to create a table in Power BI. Then the next I'm going to do, just click on close and apply. When you click on close and apply, that's to bring that into Power BI. That will come into Power BI, and you'll be able to see that in Power BI. Able to get that in Power BI. Okay, please, can you all hear me now? Hello, can you all hear me? Hello, can you all hear me? So those are all the functions we have in DAX. Those are all the functions we have in DAX. These are all the functions we have in DAX. We are going to start with the aggregate function. In starting with the aggregate function, we're going to start with the average. Now we're going to start with the average. Now the average returns the average, that is the arithmetic mean of all the numbers in a column. It gives us the mean of all the numbers in a column. It gives us the average of all the numbers in a column. Now it returns a decimal number that represents, it returns a decimal number. It returns a decimal number that represents the arithmetic mean of the numbers in the column. Now you can see the average function has only one argument, and the argument is the column. In other words, in order to use the average function, you have to provide just only one input or one argument for that to calculate the average function, and it only needs a column. It only needs a column. Now, so let's assume I want to see the average amount of sales. Then I'm interested in seeing the average amount of sales. I'm interested to see the average amount of sales. In order to calculate the average amount of sales, since the average amount of sales will only give me one value, because average is going to give only a single value, so that is a measure. So if I want to calculate it in that, I have to go to a measure. This is a measure. I'll click on the measure, or I go to modeling. I click on modeling, and I click on new measure. Because the average function is going to give me a single value, that is a standard value. So I have to click, or I have to use a measure. going to give me a single value and aggregate value. So let's call this average sales. Let's call that average sales amount. Let's call that average sales amount. So then you type equals to. And whenever you type equals to, average sales amount equals to the next thing you need to be able to introduce the word, the average function. The moment you does average, so that is a function. Now, average returns the average, that is arithmetic mean of all the numbers in a column. Now, just a column. Which column am I interested in? First and foremost, recall we have a lot of tables here. For that to be able to recognize the particular table I'm interested in, I have to pick the table I'm interested in, so that can able to locate the table. So I want to calculate the average amount of sales. So now the table I'm interested in is sales. In that sales table, let me go to this. Let's check the view. In my sales table, I have a column in the sales table known as sales amount. In my sales table, I have a column known as sales amount. In my sales table, this is a column known as sales amount. So I'm interested to know the total sum of what sales amount. So I have to tell that go to a particular table known as what sales and calculate the whole value in a column known as sales amount. So now in order to do that, I'm going to start afresh. I want it to appear, I want the value, the output to appear in the sales table. I'm going to click on the sales table first and foremost, so that it will appear in under the table. Then I click on new measure. When I click on new measure, I'm going to type average sales amount. Average sales equals to, then you type the function which is known as average. Then the table I'm interested in is what sales. The column is what amount. That is what sales amount. I type the bracket close and I hit enter. Then when I hit enter, you can see DAX performing that particular calculation. I drag and drop here to see or to view the value. Then when I drag and drop, I'm going to make use of this this visual 1, 2, 3 visual. I turn it to this is the average sales amount. The average sales amount is 905.6 million naira. So if I want to go run this on DAX Studio, recall we said DAX, we have the DAX section in Power BI. If I want to run this now in DAX, I have to start with evaluate function. I have to start with the evaluate function if I want to run that in DAX. So evaluate what average what the sales amount. The table I'm interested in is sales amount, then bracket close. Now, since the average is going to give me a single value, since the average is going to give me a single value, I'm going to use the curly bracket. I'm going to use the curly bracket, and I'm going to run this. Now you can see it's giving me same value as we run that in Power BI. The time is going to run up now. I'm going to send another login. I'm going to send another link on the platform. I'm going to share another link on the platform. I'm going to share another link on the platform so we can continue the training with that link. Up to the log out now. I'm about to log out now. I'm going to send another link on the platform. I'm going to send another link on the platform. Yeah, it's recorded. I'm going to send another link on the platform so we can continue the training with that link. So I'm going to end the meeting now and send another link now.